Hi everybody, I wanted to do a quick tutorial on how to use Google Drawings. It's not an app that I'm terribly familiar with, but I've been playing around with it for a little bit and I think I got the hang of it, and I know you will be able to as well. So we're going to start with a new tab, and the first thing I noticed about Google Drawings is that when I look at my Google Apps, it's not on there. I feel like it used to be, but you can get there easily enough by just typing in Google Drawings. So we can click on the link and it's going to open up a new drawing for us. So of course, the first thing we're going to do is title our Google drawing so that it doesn't get lost in the abyss of our drive. So I'm going to call this one Food Web. Now, as part of your assignment, you're going to be doing a food chain and a food web, but a food chain is much more simplistic than a food web. So I'd rather show you how to do the more challenging one. And I think you'll be able to do the simpler one on your own. So we're going to start by opening up a new tab. We got to take some screenshots of autotrophs and heterotrophs. One of the things that I found helpful was kind of thinking ahead of what I wanted to have pictures of, and I took all of my screenshots all at once, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So I've already been brainstorming. I've decided that I'm going to do two autotrophs. I'm going to use grass. So I'm going to image search grass and take a screenshot by Command-Shift-4. And that screenshot will go to my desktop. I'm going to do algae. Command-Shift-4, and that will also go to my desktop. And then I'm going to choose for my heterotrophs, I'm going to do a rabbit, a cow, a fish, and a human. So now I'm going to go back to my food web tab. I'm going to shrink my screen a little, and I'm just going to drag and drop all of my screenshots onto my Google Drawing. I'm not really worrying about where they're going at this point. I just want to get them from my desktop onto my Google Drawing so that I can maximize my screen again. Oh, I meant to do a bear as well. All right, let's put that bear in there. All right. So now that they're all in there, I can start organizing them however I see fit. And remember, we're going to be using arrows to connect the flow of energy and how energy is transferred through an ecosystem. Now, a food chain does that similarly, but a food web is more realistic as to how things work in real life. We don't only eat one thing. Our diet consists of lots of different things, both autotrophs and heterotrophs in most cases, unless you've chosen to be a vegan or a vegetarian. So we're going to go assuming that a human eats both meat and plants in this case. So remember, we have to pay specific attention to the direction our arrows are going in. In order to obtain an arrow, if we go up here where the line is, it's a drop down and you can click on arrow. So now we have to determine what direction the energy is going. So if a rabbit consumes grass, the grass is an autotroph. It obtained its energy from the sun through the process of photosynthesis. So it used sunlight, it used carbon dioxide, and it used water to produce glucose. That rabbit is going to eat grass as its food source, and it's going to obtain the energy, the glucose, that was in the grass. So we want to draw our arrow going from the grass to the rabbit. Now, a cow also eats grass. So we're going to draw our arrow again from the grass to the cow, since the energy is moving from the grass to the cow. I'm going to click up here on my arrow for a second because I want to move my fish. I don't really want an arrow going through my rabbit, so I'm going to move the fish closer to the algae. And now I can click back and get my arrow back. A fish consumes algae, so the arrow will go from the algae to the fish. That is where the energy is being transferred. Let's see here. What would a bear eat? A bear would eat a cow, so the energy from the cow would go to the bear. A bear would eat a rabbit. Energy from the rabbit would go to the bear. A bear would eat a fish, so the energy from the fish would go to the bear. And I bet a bear would eat a human if given the opportunity, so the energy from the human would go to the bear. Now, if we take a look at what a human would eat, I don't see a ton of humans eating grass or algae, maybe somewhere out there, but I'm not going to put any arrows in that direction. I do know that humans eat fish though, so the energy from the fish would transfer to the human if consumed. Some humans eat rabbits, so the energy from the rabbit would move to the human. Humans eat cows, so the energy from the cow would move to the human. And some humans eat bear. I haven't tried it myself, but I'd give it a shot. So we are now going to draw an arrow from the bear to the human. So as you can see here, we have arrows going both ways. We're competing, we're competitors. I also want to do a text box. I think this deserves a title. So I'm going to go up here and I can make a text box and I can create a label. So I'm going to call this food web. And everything up here on your taskbar is very similar to like a Google document. So I can highlight this, I can choose it to be centered, I can make it larger, I can make it bold, I can make it red, I can do all kinds of different things with my title up there. But the main focus in this assignment that's coming up is the direction of the arrows and making sure that we're thinking in terms of energy transfer in an ecosystem. Remember, this is a more accurate representation than a food chain. Than a food chain because of the fact that these different organisms have options in their diet. If cows only relied on grass or if rabbits only relied on grass, eventually that resource would be limited. So they do have different options in their diet just as we do, and that allows for variety. We can get different nutrients from different foods, and that's all very important. So that is about all I have to share with you. I hope that you're staying healthy. I hope you're staying active. And feel free to reach out with an email if you have any questions. Feel free to ask me to Google Meet between the hours of 12 and 2 if you're struggling, or of course during your classroom hours as well. I am here to help. We will get through this together, and have a good evening.